Good morning and welcome to Southern Sustenance. Today I'm going to show you a couple grafting methods that I use and that I've had success with. So the first is this apple tree. I'm going to show you how to do a whip and tongue. This is my preferred method. There's a lot of cambium contact. It is a little bit more complex, but the tension that when you insert the scion into the rootstock, the tension there keeps it there, so when you wrap it up it can hold itself and you've got more chance that it'll take. So previously I've grafted this Granny Smith with a wild sort of apple that I found, and it's taken and it's produced this upgrowth. That's helped with pollination, as I've mentioned in other videos. However, I've got my hands on one of these, which is a red Fuji, so we're going to put that on the top of this. I don't want to get rid of this graft, I like it because it's straight, so I can put it on. So here we go. Now before you start, I've got everything ready. So I've got my tape, my secateurs, and my disinfected grafting knife. So like I said, there's two types of techniques I like to use. So whip and tongue, I use it generally for skinny branches that it might be hard to stabilize and wrap the tape around, so I'm going to use it on this. But if the branch was thicker, a bit less flexible, I'll probably go like a wedge graft. So that's where you pretty much shave down both sides, you cut a central cut, put it in, and you tape it up. So I take the end of this to make sure that it's still fresh, so still green, and I match the thickness up to a similar sort of place on the rootstock. So I'm going to whittle this down, so once I do that, that's actually going to be at a thinner part. So and the thing is, I can make a few more songs off this. I can make 3 or 4, but I've had a look around the tree and I reckon this is the best place. It's central. So let's, just looking for a straight section, let's cut it there. Alrighty. So I'm just thinking, where's the best way to cut it, because they've got buds on it and sort of wanted to line up if you can, so something like that. So I'll cut off that side and that side of this one. So we're in August now, and that's the time to graft. So you want to do it before the buds break. So our buds have formed, but they haven't broken yet, so they haven't erupted with the leaves. So nice straight cuts, and then you line it up and you say, oh, so like that. Not too many gaps in, so I've used straight cuts, I haven't whittled it, so that's good to go. When they talk about a third, it's a third from the thin edge. That's where you cut into it. So let's say about there. Just slow cuts, you don't want to, it's not something you rush. And a third from the top here. Nice and slowly. When you do this, I do it in the mornings. That's when the sap flow is the greatest in plants. You don't want to do it and the rootstock's drying out as you prepare this. So I've put it in there. It's on a bit of an angle, but you know what? Once this takes, you can cut it down to on the buds and then it'll shoot back up and it'll try to align itself. And practice makes perfect. So I could probably move this cut a bit higher just to stabilize it, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut off a bit of this because it's a bit top heavy. So push it down and it holds itself there. That looks a lot better. So take two. I'm happy with that, happier than I was before. Peel off some tape. I use red because I know where I've done the graft. Some people use white. You know, they reckon it keeps it cooler or something. You know, I'm not really fussed. So you want to put tension on this as you're doing it. So I'm starting from below where that cut is and winding my way up, putting the tension on. And just align it again. Now, normally what people recommend is you take this off after about a year. So next growing season you cut it off. For me, I do it after about 6 weeks or so when I know it's taken and I've seen this swell up and grow. I'd wait a month or two and then I cut this off and let it grow, because it is tape, it won't stretch that much. This is one I prepared last year. Maybe it's better from this side. So that was whip and tongue, and it's taken, and I took pretty quickly, and then I just cut it off, and it's all fused. So number one. Now I'm going to show you the wedge graft. So I've got plenty of grafts here. I'm going to find something that I can do a wedge on, so maybe something a bit thicker. So be back in a bit. From the satsuma that we have to the right, this has sort of grown up, a bit of an offshoot. I haven't cut it down, I've cut others down around it, but I've left this one because my plan is to graft different plum varieties onto this. So I'm going to try grafting a prune onto this. So we'll see how we go, because satsuma is a Japanese plum, whereas this prune is European type. It's called Splendor. So we can see even from this scion that this part is very straight, this part is a bit more bent. So I'm already thinking that this is probably better for that wedge graft, and this will be better cutting down one side for a whip and tongue. So we'll do a wedge for now. So again, plants are like humans, they get viruses from everywhere, so you want to disinfect your tools. Now this is more straight, whereas this is more bendy. So because this is more bendy, I'll probably do a whip and tongue here, so there's a bit more stability, whereas this, I think the wedge is a bit weaker than the whip and tongue. So I'll do it up here, so match it up. Probably about there is where I'll insert this. Now, it's all about patience with this. You insert it, and then you don't want to be having it in your hand as you pull it towards yourself. All about safety. So I cut too much off there, so try again. Now I try not to whittle it, but sometimes it just happens. Alrighty, that's pretty good. So there's no flat edge on that, that's very straight. And I'll be looking to put somewhere here, so got my secateurs. Probably about there. And I'm looking for a sort of straight edge, so that's pretty straight. It's a bit thick. Maybe here. Always cut it a bit proud. So if it's a bit thin, I can work my way down, but generally you can cut things off, you can't put them back. So that's the reason for that. When I cut this, I try to have it a fraction of an inch longer than what I need this, and that just gives the flexibility to stay in. what you do here is when you put it in, you might need to rotate it just to find the best place. Make sure those cambiums meet. So that's perfect. That meets on both sides. Might take some photos. And then again, just have to wrap it up with the red tape. On an angle, with a tension, and around it goes. Now just a bit of aftercare. So this is pruning deciduous type plants. When you wrap this up, sometimes there's gaps at the top. What I like to do is try to avoid that, try to put all the tape on it, but if there are, and you don't really want to put any more tape, what seems to work for me is I get a candle and I just melt some wax just to seal it all in there, and I also do the top here. So again, it's one little trick for that. But that's one done. I'll go do the other one with a whip and tongue, and yeah, there's a few more other things I have to do, a few more other trees I have to graft. But yeah, hopefully if you enjoyed that, you've got something out of it. If you have any questions, leave them on the comments section below, and thanks for tuning in. Just a point of note also, I got my scions from the Rare Fruit Society, and what I did to store them, you just keep them in a crisper, keep them cool. So, and try to do this as soon as you get them to the grafting. And that goes even if you're collecting your own grafts. If you're going to collect your own, then do it in the early morning when the subflow is the greatest. Cut them off, keep them cool, keep them moist. Keep it in the crisper until you're ready to use it. The fresher it is, the more chance you have of striking, but also it depends on how you cut it and how you prepare it too. So, thank you.